students. Welcome to the Checkpoint Online Sessions. I'm Mr. Charles, and this is the fifth lesson for week 6. Please go to your workbook, page 58, Caring and Sharing. Pages 58 all the way to 60. These questions should take you about 50 minutes to 1 hour. Try to solve them and then come back and see how accurate your answers were. And or you can pause momentarily, as always, as we go through the questions. For question 1, you're supposed to write a slogan of no longer than 6 words each for the following services or products. Think about what makes language memorable. So you have to write a memorable slogan for from A to E. This is partially opinionated. Our answers do not have to be the same, but try to think of something as memorable as you can that offers these services. First, a place that looks after pets while owners are on holiday. We could go with Pets Need Holidays Too. B, a neighborhood watch group that aims to prevent burglaries. Watch out, there's a thief about. We just used Ryan. A bicycle that folds so it can be taken on trains by commuters. The bike that goes on trains, for example. D, a hairdressing salon for women and men. Tomorrow's hair today, for example. A new supermarket which specializes in luxury foods. The best, not the rest. Again, your answer could be completely different from this. Just make sure you made your best effort to make it memorable. Question 2. Put the correct verb lie or lay in the correct tense in the gaps below. This is not opinionated at all. Our answers have to be the same. For question 1, I was lying in bed when I heard the strange noise. B, the magician told me to lay the cloth over the box and then lie on the floor next to it. C, before the fire was started, a dozen of stones were laid in a circle. D, lying between the two bushes was a pile of leaves, and next to them the gardener was laying a fire. E, after he lay down for a siesta, he remembered that he had left the newspaper lying on the floor. Since the newspaper was lying, so the subject and object of the laying or the lying was the newspaper, we chose lying, not laying. Question 3, put the correct tense of verb in the conditional sentences below. This as well, our answers have to be identical. I only went to that hotel because I thought it might have had Wi-Fi in the rooms. If I had known that it didn't, I would have stayed somewhere else. Third conditional, typical statements. B, my father would have been about 7 years old when he went to boarding school. Nowadays, his parents would not have agreed to send him away at such a young age. C, I would have attended the gathering if I had realized that she would be there. I wouldn't have believed it was possible for her to manage to get to it. D, if I were you, I would not consider spending that much money on a new tablet. It would cost much less to upgrade the one you already have. E, unless they had booked many months in advance, they would have had no chance of getting tickets. The festival was sold out a few days after it was advertised. Question 4. Use one of the following prefixes for each of the words below. Faith, dermic, present, bite, vise, and mise. And for G, you have Terranian, and then active, structure, and then sound. And the prefixes are omni, multi, or multi, mega, mini, infra, ultra, sub, super, hyper, and hypo. This is common knowledge, the way that is commonly used, because you might have different answers, different prefixes for different words. You might choose two prefixes for the same word. It is going to have a meaning, but the common use, the colloquial use for this is fixed. For example, faith, you may say he has many faith, for example, or you may say he is a super faithful person, or he possesses super faith. You might say that, and people would understand, but this is not standard. This is not colloquially used among English speakers. For faith, we say multi-faith. For dermic, we say hypodermic. For present, we say omnipresent, the person who is always and all time everywhere. For byte, you guessed it, we say megabyte. For vise, supervise. For mise, to minimize, to make it the least. For terranean, we say subterranean. Or active, we say hyperactive, the person who cannot settle down for a long time. Structure, we say infrastructure. For sound, we say ultrasound. For question 5, in the passage below, circle the commas that could or should be replaced by semicolons. So some commas are optional for you to replace them or no by a semicolon, and some commas should be replaced by semicolons. Remember the rule for the semicolon, that it should introduce or it should come between two independent clauses grammatically, but they are linked somehow semantically. The meaning, semantics is the science of meaning. Semantically, they have to be connected somehow. For many years, the magnificent Amur tiger was on the brink of extinction. Semicolon, at one point, fewer than 40 remained in the wild. You see how the magnificent Amur tiger, this is subject, and then verb was. At the second independent clause, fewer than 40, that's the subject, and remained is the verb. So two complete independent clauses that could stand with a period between them, or a comma and a conjunction, but with a subordinate conjunction, but a semicolon is the best academic way to present it. Today, the story is very different. Here you may or may not put you may choose whatever you want, a semicolon. So today the story is very different. Latest survey figures estimate that there are around 500 Amur tigers in the wild, and numbers have remained stable for the past decade. This success is thanks to regular donations made by loyal supporters like you, which help fund long-term conservation efforts for many vulnerable wildlife species. A solitary female leopard looks for prey. Patiently and silently, she prowls the hunting ground for her ancestors, seeking food for herself and for her cubs. Or again, optional semicolon, but tonight they will go hungry. The area of forest where she hunted, or where she hunted only yesterday, is gone, cleared by loggers. Her prey has gone too. For his leopard and her family, it is time to move on. Here the semicolon is best replaced with a period, new sentence, and then for this leopard and her family, comma, it is time to move on. But since the question asked only for semicolon instead of a comma, we have to go this way. But there are fewer and fewer places to go. Fewer than 40 Amur leopards remain in the wild. And such a small population means that the entire species could soon be wiped out. You have helped to create a positive new chapter for the Amur tiger. Will you do the same for the Amur leopard? Question 6. Put commas in the correct places in the following sentences if necessary, making sure there is no possible ambiguity. So some sentences, the if necessary clause or phrase suggests that not all sentences need a comma. For A, I'm very grateful to my parents, Catherine Newman, and God. If you put a comma only after parents, so I'm very grateful to my parents, Catherine Newman, and God. This is the British way to numer, to say my parents, 1, Catherine Newman, 2, and God. You have 3 objects of thanking. If you put a semi or a colon after parents, you are saying that your parents are Catherine Newman and God. This is how this creates a wrong impression. B, give me a second father and I'll do it. This way, it's we need a clarifying punctuation, or we need a clarifying comma. Give me a second father, this means give me another father. So give me a second, as we said, with occupation and names, comma, father, comma, and I'll do it. Grand architectural sites and great historical buildings were to be seen on the tour. We need nothing here. We have two part subject, that is grand architectural sites and great historical buildings. Both of them consist of the subject, and then the verb were. D, our son Ahmed is studying maths at Cairo University. Again, we need nothing. But with E, our eldest son Ahmed, now we have many sons, and we need to clarify with a comma. Our oldest son or eldest son Ahmed, comma, is studying maths at Cairo University. F, English teachers who are in demand need to know the rules of grammar. Remember, what do we call this? This is a non-defining relative clause. So English teachers, comma, who are in demand, comma, this is the non-defining relative clause, and then need to know the rules of grammar. G, the Olympic athlete Rafiq Bendi has set a new record. We need nothing here. But because there is only one, just the same with D, our son Ahmed. Because the introduces one known, definite object of talking. And in this case, it's the Olympic athlete Rafiq Bendi. But with H, an Olympic athlete, now we have many, and this is a indefinite article, an. The is a definite article. We know who's the person. But with H, we need a comma. An Olympic athlete, comma, Rafiq Bendi has set a new world record. They were only pretending to please her. We have 2 cases here. They were only pretending to please her. This means that they were acting, and the reason for acting is to please her. They were only pretending to please her without a comma. This means that they were acting that they were pleasing her. So 2 cases. Either they were acting in order to please her, or they were acting that they were pleasing her. Now, both cases, it's fine, comma or without comma. The final sentence, I would like it naturally. Again, a comma creates another meaning. So whatever your point of speech is, whatever the point you're trying to make, you put a comma or no. So I would like it naturally, or I would like it naturally. Both cases are correct. We're done for today. Thank you very much for listening. Stay safe and keep up the good work.